Hello everyone, welcome back to Marvel Mania. 'Tis I, Captain Logan, and joining me as always is my wonderful co-host, DJ Martinez. Hello, DJ.
Hello, sir.
Dude,
how are you?
I'm stoked. I'm more excited than I've ever been for a Marvel Mania commentary because finally we get to do the long-awaited. We've been putting this off for so long. We've been making everybody wait. I know there is so much hot anticipation for our talking over Ant-Man and the Wasp live. Like, you guys think that we put it off all this time just because DJ got sick and we had scheduling problems and stuff? No, it was a whole plan, you know, because we know that this is the most popular, biggest deal Marvel movie there is, and I'm just like, I'm pumped, man. I'm just pumped up.
I mean, this is like the end of phase. Is this an end of a phase? This isn't an end of phase.
No, this is not quite the end of a
phase. It's mid-phase.
If this was the end of a phase, the phase would have ended before Endgame. No, the end of the phase is Spider-Man Homecoming, I think, or Far From Home, I think.
That's right. I was thinking of how Ant-Man was the end of that phase.
Oh man, this is such a big deal. It's a monumentous occasion. I don't even know what to do with it.
So I can't stop my foot from tapping.
To celebrate this monumentous occasion, finally doing the Ant-Man sequel, DJ and I are just going to get right into it. We're going to have no more preamble than we're doing right now. So get it rigged up. Make sure you're at timestamp 0 and get ready to press play when I say now. Obviously, this is on Disney+. If you've got the DVD or the Blu-ray, however you want to watch it, make sure and get that out. And if you're watching after the fact, you can pause us while you're scrounging around for your stuff and get it all ready. Timestamp 0, and we're going to get started right now. Here we go. If anybody if we got any stragglers live, and welcome live, thanks for being here. If we have any stragglers live, just ask somebody in the comments for a timestamp. Here we go, everybody. Everybody, please press play right now.
Oh man, right into his voice.
We got a cold open. Yeah. We got a cold open of Hank Pym explaining a thing to his daughter that he has explained to her before, that we saw happen last time, but he's just catching us up and reminding us about what happened before. Like, he's giving maybe a little bit more of details, maybe, because I don't know how much of what we're seeing is just like extra stuff that he's actually saying in his monologue that we're not hearing, but most of the monologue we hear is just stuff that he said already. And it's weird because Hope's reaction to it is sort of like she's never heard it before, but like, not only did we hear it last movie, but it's been years?
Weird. Yeah, I have no memory of this. So full disclosure, I did not rewatch this one. I haven't seen it since the theater. And I have no memory of this opening scene.
See, you were just so excited about this, you wanted to be astounded again for a second time. You wanted your mind to be doubly blown.
Yeah, no spoilers.
So now we get to see this flashback again, but actually with an actress in the role this time. I really wish that somehow we could have had her from the beginning. I think this is genius casting. Michelle Pfeiffer, and that's one of the things that drives me crazy about this movie, all jokes aside, is that we cast Michelle Pfeiffer and we just don't get to do enough with her. And
well, she's gone the whole time.
We'll talk about this as we go along because we'll have plenty of time, DJ. But I think this whole premise is really kind of bland and uninspired, and everything that we get to by the end of this movie, you could have gotten to at the end of the first movie, and it would have seemed easy and contrived, but it does anyway, so we might as well have gotten it out of the way last time so we could, like, bring Janet Pym in and do a cool story with her, but no.
Yeah, or at the beginning of this movie, like that's what happened between movies, and we get to see the end of it or something. Like,
or that's the
first act. We see her.
First act plot point could have been we go to the quantum realm, as a cosmic realm. That would make the third movie, the Cosmic Mania, the quantum realm, and we get her out at the end of the first act, and then we do some kind of cool thing with her. But yeah, this is some pretty forced exposition, and not even exposition so much as
why would they be having this conversation?
Recap. They might as well have just given us a previously on.
Previously on Lost.
Well, yeah, because you've got Evangeline Lilly sitting right there. I mean, she knows everything up to this part where he is like, I've made the quantum tunnel. Like, the conversation should have started with him unrolling that and being like, she should know exactly what he's talking about. What are you saying?
Yeah.
Well, let's put 2 and 2 together. We know your mom was in the quantum realm. I'm hoping she's still alive. We're gonna go there.
But it's not gonna happen till the very end of the movie.
So DJ sent me presents for Christmas that he didn't let me open until we got on camera, and I didn't want to have to wait till Thursday for the Captain Logan show, so he told me I could do it during this commentary.
But it's actually probably even a better time than the Captain Logan show.
You think so? I got him sitting right here, so I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna do it now or wait a little bit later. But I think now would be an okay time. There's not a whole lot to say as... This is a cute scene, but there's probably not a whole lot to say while Scott and his daughter are crawling around pretending to do a heist together. I want to build something like this in my house, though, for my kids.
Yeah. This is super cool. This is the kind of stuff I want to do with my kids.
You just said super cool, like almost simultaneous with Scott Lang.
Oh, well, I mean... How do you know we're not the same person?
Are you sure that you didn't prepare for this commentary?
Oh, man.
Okay, priority mail package from DJ Martinez.
Oh. Wait. Which one do you open first?
Well, which one should I open first? There's a box and there's a bag and there's a bag.
Envelope first before the box.
Envelope first. Okay, cool. What's in the box? So wait, is this going to be a situation where once I've opened one, I have to decide if I'm going to take that or what's in the box? Is it going to be like that? There's a song in here, you guys. Okay.
All gifts are yours, but you need to open them in a specific order.
I love the retinal scan. I think that's hilarious.
Is that a frisbee with a flashlight or anything?
See, the only problem with a setup like this is that the whole thing you build to play like one scenario in. And once you're done with it, it looks like it would have taken like 19 hours to put all of this together. And then you go through and you're like, oh man, there's lasers, and you get through the lasers, and it's like that is some intricate stuff. How long did it take to do that? And they're just like, we went through the lasers in 5 seconds.
Well, that's what we're illustrating here is that he's got nothing but time.
Well, that's a really good point actually. He's got, and I'm not complaining about that part, but yeah. There's Louis, he's still fun. I don't think very much of the script in this movie is as funny as the previous film. I really don't, but there is still some pretty great stuff with Louise. The whole truth serum business is stupid. There's this ongoing joke. It's not truth serum. And, like, not only is it redundant and, like, they keep bringing it back and it's not a funny ongoing gag, this is a weird movie because it has really good setup and payoff for a bunch of stuff that I don't think is all that funny or interesting. So, like, the structure of it's fine. We keep paying things off where I'm like, that should be clever, but I just think it's uninspired. But anyway, they also ripped that whole thing off from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There's a whole gag about that in the first season of that show.
That's true. But no one watches that. Yeah,
that's why they thought they could get away with it. Okay, so, let's see insane. Wait, is this going to be a Marvel Mania t-shirt? And then am I going to wish that I had opened this and had it? It is!
Gotta go, man.
Oh, man! I'm going to have to, like... I might get off camera for 5 seconds and put this on.
Take a little intermission.
Thanks, man. Oh, this is cool. Okay, so I got a Marvel Mania t-shirt. And I was thinking, this is so great, because I was thinking just before the show, like, oh, we still haven't gotten me a Marvel Mania t-shirt. DJ's got one every time. I've got one now. So that's exciting. Thank you so much, man.
That's your red one. I told you it was appropriate for the show.
That's exciting. And then I'm totally, this is Mania. I can do whatever random crazy crap I want to. I'm going to get off camera. But this is also exciting, and I'm going to wear this all the freaking time, because I love the Geekvolution logo so much. We will probably never change logos at this point. I'm so happy with what you did with this, and it's purple, and it's beautiful, and I'm just, I love it so much. I'm so excited. Thank you.
I'm very excited for you. My wife made those. She is. Well, my wife had a lot to do with all of this, so.
You didn't have to send a box. That was great.
Oh, you gotta see. You gotta see what's in the box.
Okay, so I don't have to choose the T-shirts or what's in the box.
No. I think you'll like it, but we can wait a little bit later if you want. Oh, it's Jim. It's Asian Jim.
People in the comments are saying we should sell those. Yeah, we should. We have not gotten those made on Redbubble or anything like that yet. We keep talking about it. That's just stuff that they're printing at DJ's place right now.
Yeah, she's just cutting that out, and those are just iron-ons.
So this kind of cartoon character, cop guy, is a really weird character. He's kind of funny. I like some things about him. I like that he can't talk to children. I think that's funny. But he's like, I want to know what kind of like TV or he watches or what books he reads, because he's like stuck in the 1950s. Like the way he talks, he's so completely old-fashioned and out of touch and like weirdly like clean cut and stuff. Like ultra wholesome.
He's cop guy. That's what cop guys are like in comedies.
He wants to be like the Mr. Rogers of cops. Cop Rogers, as it were. To coin a phrase. I'm in a mood tonight, you guys. I'm just so excited to be watching Ant-Man and the Wasp. In
Both
fact,
of them.
From now on, I'm only going to refer to it that way with that inflection, because on a rewatch, because I did prepare for this, full disclosure, on rewatch for this, I was thinking this is still like totally Scott Lang's story. Like the Wasp's name is in the title. I think more because they go and get Janet Van Dyne than because Hope is the dual protagonist, right? I don't think she's really all that much more involved and has all that much more screen time than she did in the first movie. Maybe a smidge.
Well, it's Ant-Man and that Wasp. Is the next one going to be called Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Wasp?
No, it's going to be called Quantum Mania. We already know what it's called.
Quantum Mania?
Yeah, you don't know about this?
Wow.
Oh, because you were sick when we talked about this. That means
I was so mad that I missed all that news. I've not gone back to look at any of it.
Yeah, because the first thing I thought was, well, now when we do a round 3 for Marvel Mania, we're gonna have to do the Marvel Mania on Quantum Mania.
That's amazing.
And that's gonna be weird. Oh, very strange that Cara Fun shows up in this movie. That's a YouTube channel for karaoke that I use all the time. And it was surreal in the theater to see that. I want to say that probably about 25% of the things that Scott Lang is doing while he's under house arrest are things I would be doing.
This is so appropriate after last year.
I got self-conscious too when they had that joke about the drum kit, the digital drum kit, where it's like, what are you what are you 5? I got real self-conscious because like I have one of those and I use it some and like...
Whoa. Is he having like flashbacks?
Something interesting to note is that Paul Rudd actually learned how to do some of that close-up magic. So that was
cool.
There was not a visual effect that was done for any of that. He did all that. That sleight of hand is him. Oh, what? I'm opening the rest of this package now. This is even better. Look at this, you guys. I got 2 of them. I got one that's silver on black, like the black Superman costume. Was that your plan? Was that your idea?
Well, yeah, man.
That's lovely. Yeah, it looks like the black Superman costume. It's so good. Oh, thank you. I'm so excited.
Look.
And I just can't hide it.
Better than the one in Justice League where it's just a color-corrected version of the
It's not. I don't think it's color-corrected. I don't agree with you on that. I went and looked at it because I was talking to Austin the other day, and he said that you'd said that, and I was looking close at it. I don't think it's color-corrected. Especially because they had a black suit in Man of Steel in the like weird dreamscape thing that he has with Zod, and it's not the same suit, but he's got a black suit in that, and it doesn't have the silver like the Justice League suit is going to, but there's pictures of him standing in front of a green screen wearing that suit, and it's not color corrected. He has a black one. So I don't know why they would do it for one scene in that, but color correct it for Justice League?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It's still, I don't know. It still looks in the trailers like just the suit. It's not like it's a whole different suit.
No, it's not, but it was but that's exactly the same with the one that they used for Man of Steel. It was the same suit. They just made it black, but they made it black. They didn't color correct it.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, I don't know why they would do that. Especially since it's going to be in more scenes,
I just hate that it looks like it could be. Like the same thing with Spider-Man in Spider-Man 3. Like, you didn't make the black suit, you just made a black and white version of the suit.
And now, for your listening pleasure, rustling.
Tissue paper rustling. Hey, we could be listening to cereal chewing from the actual movie. Which
I have no guesses yet. I have zero guesses.
Oh, yeah, it's in a box, in a box, in a box. I think he's gonna like this, guys.
I think DJ wants to get engaged. DJ's giant engagement ring. What? Oh man, that's nuts! People in the comments are gonna ask for us to somehow sell these too. You know that's gonna happen. Are you ready?
Are you guys ready?
It's pop figure Captain Logan. I'm a pop figure, you guys. That's amazing.
The suit's looking blue on camera, but it is definitely purple.
It looks blue in this light, too. I mean, that's why it looks that way in camera. I thought it was blue. But it is purple?
It is a purple suit, and I don't think you have a purple suit.
No, but I want one now.
But I had to make it. I had to go purple. I had to go.
These glasses are rocking, too. I need way bigger glasses now. No, look at this. Dude, that's amazing. It almost makes me wish I did have a widow's peak. I think I look cooler with a widow's peak.
Well, there's still a chance. There's still a chance.
Me and that ant have something in common. I also love Fruit Loops.
Straight out of the box?
Oh, yeah, sure. Straight out of the box. I mean, I don't usually eat the box, too. Not eating, like, part of the box. So, no, it's probably not fair to say that she's not that she's in about as much footage as she was in the first movie, but it feels that way. So one of the many things that irks me about this movie is it feels like, and maybe it seems more natural than it would otherwise because it's coming off of Civil War, that this is because of the events from that movie, but we've got to kind of hit the reset button and put these guys basically back where they were before. So at the end of the last movie, they're in love and they're coming together, and then it feels like typical sequel stuff where now that we're back in a sequel, they're kind of forced back together, and she is angry with Scott, doesn't want anything to do with him, and they have to rekindle the romance instead of building on what we had last movie. And in too many ways, this movie, I don't want to say that it feels like a carbon copy of the first movie, but it's definitely retreading a lot of character stuff. Like, we kind of regress some things and we have to catch back up again.
Yeah. And do you think that was necessary, given where we were left things off of Civil War, or do you think they could have got around it better?
I'm not sure. I'm a little bit conflicted about it. I guess I would have felt better about the love story bit with them having to, kind of rekindle things if we didn't also spend the whole movie trying to get to the quantum realm like we did last movie. Like, I really, not that, I don't mean that last movie was about getting there, but it's just, we go there at the third act of last movie. That's what we do this movie. We spend the whole time trying to get there. I've said this before, and I think I even talked about this in the rewind for the first Ant-Man, but I was really concerned when he goes to the quantum realm that he would just, as infinite as that space is supposed to be, he would just get lucky and run into Janet. And I was kind of impressed with them for not doing that. And this is worse than if they had done that, because now he's got this weird, silly, mental link with her just because he was in that realm, and that's real easy and contrived. And we've got, and then the villain in this, who is sympathetic enough, and I don't dislike her. Her performance is fine, Ghost. But we also get really contrived in having to make the villain the opposite side of the coin, the same way we did with the first one, where instead of a like evil Ant-Man, now we've got an evil quantum thing, and the timing is just too easy. Where like she's phasing and she's trying to keep herself together, and nothing is working anymore, and she's about to die at precisely the time that they've discovered the one thing that would save her, because of course. It's way too easy.
Yeah, it's like they felt like they needed a super villainy villain when there's already like enough going on in this movie.
Stephen Murphy, there's also the question of if Marvel Mania will include WandaVision and the other shows when they get done down the line. We should consider that, because those are looking more and more like kind of elongated movies than straight up TV shows. And depending on how integral they are to the rest of these movies, I could see that.
I think so.
It would make Marvel Mania a lot longer, but it would let us do it more often too. Because if you didn't have to wait for another like dozen movies and you were doing the Marvel TV shows, then we'd have enough material to do one, in a year or two instead of like 3 or 4.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes of WandaVision, so
it's great.
That would be a great thing to commentary over. Did you just read TH1's super chat? Is that what you're reading?
No, I was not, but we can go ahead and get to super chats if you want to.
Well, he just asked, how will you address the MCU Disney Plus shows? So you did answer.
I don't know, but I'm leaning toward that idea. I'm liking that. We may end up doing that. Yeah,
I've got a handful already. We can go through. Michael McAllister, will Patreon... This is that same question that he asked the super chat. Will Patreon on Ant-Man and the Wasp 2 cap?
I still don't know what that means, bud.
I don't know what it means. Will Patreon on Ant-Man?
I'm sorry, man. I just don't know what that means.
That's what he asked us on one of the live shows, and we were confused.
Lewis Cox, does DJ have Disney Plus? I'm pretty sure that's how he's watching this right now.
I am watching this right now. For I did not buy it.
Well, yes.
And if I did not have this, I would not be watching it.
We know you're watching this right now, although that would have been a coup. Would have been great if we got like 10, 15 minutes into this and you were like, full disclosure, not only did I not prepare for this, I'm not even watching it.
No, I mean, I might as well not be.
My favorite thing about this movie, and the thing that really gets me through it, because I think it's kind of dull. I think it's uninspired. It was hard watching this, not just thinking of all kinds of other, interesting, fun things they could have done with it. And I'm not, to be fair, expecting a super, deep, thought-provoking movie after that first Ant-Man movie. Could you go there with this material? Yeah, potentially, but it's okay if it's just another fun romp, and if it stays diminutive and small, like I said, was fun about that first movie, that this is still about a B-list superhero that they know is B-list, and not trying to make him more than he is. I still like all that, but the thing that really gets me through it is we are having a lot of fun with with making things small and big, and I like how much bigness we do this time, after Civil War. The idea of taking your lab with you, like having a building that you live in and you just carry it around, is fun. Although my wife, being an architect, had foundation questions.
Yeah, like what is it built? Like, that's crazy.
When you get to the end and Hank Pym and Janet just decide that they're going to go live on an island together with a house that they brought with them, and it has no foundation, and it's sitting on like a beach, like right next to water, I think, you're just like, that's going to topple over eventually. Like,
you don't just build houses on the ground.
He's like, no, really it's fine. It's a disposable home. You have mobile homes. This is a disposable home, because, like the Hot Wheels case, he just brought like a box of houses. Do you have? I just thought of this. Have you had this question, this thought before, DJ? Isn't Hank Pym like even more and better of a thief than Scott Lang is. He's got all these expensive cars in a Hot Wheels case, and they weren't Hot Wheel cars in the first place. Like, he shrunk down a car. He did not grow a Hot Wheels car.
Yeah, where did he get all those?
Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to drive them. And so, like, is that true with the lab? Is it true with the house at the end? Like, are these things that he bought with his own money, or did he also steal them because it's easy to do and he can? And then you had that whole, like, wonky and awkward character arc for Scott Lang in the first movie where it's supposed to be somehow about him learning to be a better man, even though at the end of the day, everyone kind of agrees that he was, like, being a good person and doing the Robin Hood thing, and he was stealing things for the right reasons. But it's also about how he has to, be a hero for his daughter, whatever that means. And then you get to this, and it's like, Hank Pym must be stealing things. But I guess that's okay, and he doesn't, because they're trying to get his wife back, and that makes it okay for him to break the law.
I got a wife, and she's lost. Makes it okay for me to break the law.
I didn't question it with the tank at the end of the last movie because I wasn't totally sure if it was a real tank or not. Nobody drives it. It could have been a keychain tank. Like, I wasn't sure. But these are actual, like, $28,000 sports cars that people are driving around. Or probably even more expensive.
Yeah, John Kelling says Hank used to have money, though. Like, that much? Was he...
Does he still, though? I'm fuzzy on... Yeah, because he did, but he's also on the run now? So... I don't know. We don't address that. No, I get that, and obviously last movie he lived in a big mansion and he had a lot of money, but he's like they're looking for him too because it was his suit in Civil War when Scott Lang ran off with Captain America to help Winter Soldier. So I'm not totally sure. Like, he could be hoarding money somewhere. I'm sure. I just need one line about a Swiss bank account, and I'm good. But
I remember this guy being also super cartoony too. Maybe not as bad as the cop guy, but the like southern accent. I remember this guy being super cartoony too.
He is
like, mobster guy.
I think what we have here, and maybe I wouldn't have thought of this if it weren't for WandaVision. I think what we have with both of these movies, and this one doesn't hide it as well, are basically sitcoms masquerading as typical big superhero movies. And it's like, well, it's a superhero comedy. Yeah, it is, but Guardians isn't a sitcom. It's a comedic, like, sci-fi epic.
Yeah.
This stuff is real sitcom-y. And I think the jokes absolutely do tend to get in the way of the storytelling. And just like with the first movie, the production values are so high that it's pretty easy to get away with some of that stuff. But, like, the making stuff big thing is almost always funny in this. That's the stuff I really like.
Yeah, they do a good job of like, fighting with it. Even in the first movie, they did a good job with that. All the way back to that first teaser. Where, like, oh, this actually would be really useful to fight people with this.
Ben Kelly, no cap, Hank shrunk the bank. Is that a joke, or did he shrink a bank and I don't remember it? Did that happen?
Is he a bank robber?
That would be a way to do. So the guy says the whole bank. It's the whole bank. The Ant-Man theme is maybe a little generic, but I like it. I think it's simultaneously kind of traditional, superhero stalwart fare, and also kind of comedic. It's a little tongue in cheek.
So what is I haven't seen the first one since the theater because I hated it. What is Wasp's, like, background? Why is she so much better than Scott? Or what she just did? Is she military or, like?
I think she just trained with her dad, even though her
okay.
dad didn't want her to use the suit and shrink.
Until the end of the first
Yeah, she
movie,
knows
right?
how to do everything he does and probably a little bit better than he does.
That's a nice effect on Ghost. I always thought that was cool.
Yeah, triumphant's the word I was trying to think of. It's a good triumphant theme. It's a little typical, but I think it's like intentionally typical. I also love all the use of like miniatures and action figures in this movie. I think that's fun.
I used to have little metal things like that when I was a kid. They used to make those little. Remember those little metal guys? Like I used to have a Wolverine one.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
About that height.
Matali says the guy doing the Ant-Man theme is doing WandaVision. Oh, cool! I didn't realize that. Yeah, the music in that rocks so far. Everything about that is so authentic to the period they're doing. I don't want to talk too much about that right now because I just did 52 minutes of that the other day. But
Lewis Cox put in a $2 super chat to say, "Hey Cap, have you seen WandaVision yet?" And he said,
"Yes, I
like
just did 52 minutes on that the other day with Connor and Austin. You can check out our thoughts."
Yeah, I saw it too. I liked it.
Spoiler alert: we flipped our signs green.
Did Connor flip his juice screen or whatever?
No, he's got a standard version of Feeling It signs now. He's using Feeling It coasters.
That's good. That works.
And we talked about how he could have taken his Feeling It like martini glasses and put them on Feeling It coasters. I wonder if it's true, this is from scenes ago, but I wonder if it's true, DJ, that if you were wearing an ankle bracelet like that because you're under house arrest, that if you stick your foot outside of your yard, it goes off.
I don't know. I can't say I've ever been on house arrest.
Because like that, well, one of us should do something horrible and try it, but not so horrible that you get sent to prison. You gotta find that sweet spot where you...
Sweet spot. The sweet crime spot.
I mean, pretty much the whole country and a lot of the world now has experienced house arrest. We just didn't actually do anything wrong.
That's what I was saying at the beginning. Like, I didn't do anything half as cool as what Scott was doing when he was.
We had to stay home. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing is, and I meant to say this earlier. I think this movie watches a little bit differently when he's like, so totally bored being at home for 2 years and not knowing what to do with himself because he can't go outside. And it's like, I don't know, you write that differently if it comes out just 2 years later because all of us have now experienced at least a degree of that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're already releasing stuff. Wasn't that, what's that HBO Max original that just came out with Anne Hathaway?
Yeah.
It's like a quarantine romance
It's called,
movie.
I think it's called,
Locked Down?
I can't remember. Yeah. It's not quarantined. It's something ED. I can't remember.
I think it's called Locked Down. But yeah, so Mr. Roboto, our super chats are hilarious tonight because we keep ruining them. Mr. Roboto earlier asked Cap, "How do you not have a Marvel Mania shirt yet?"
Oh well, I do. In fact, I'm gonna go put it on so as not to confuse anyone. I actually have it because
we don't want anyone else asking
it's
that.
just not appropriate.
Yeah, get that out of here.
DJ, you're gonna have to hold the fort for a second.
I'm gonna have to talk over this.
Actually, that's not true because I'll still be able to hear you without headphones. The way I have this set up, and I'll just be right over here. So, all right, give me a second.
Have fun. Good luck.
Like getting a shirt on. Gotta make sure I grab the right shirt. There's so many shirts now.
Guys, if you've missed the sound of Cap changing shirts ever since he did that shirts video, here it is.
I need to drop about 15 pounds right now to do that again.
Yeah, you looked enormous with all those shirts on. There's a lot of shirts.
Well, I didn't have all of them on. I don't know if you noticed the cuts. We had special effects in that video.
No, I didn't even notice. It was super advanced.
That is a very kind lie.
Oh, we got another super chat from T-Edge1 about the Accords whenever you're ready.
I'm phasing in and out. It makes me okay to break the law. I'm so excited to have this.
Oh,
I really had that thought when I sat down to do the show with you where I was like, oh, he's got the Marvel Mania shirt again. I really wish I had one of those. And now here I am wearing one. It's amazing.
We match. We're a team.
You rock, man. Thank you so much, by the way, for the Christmas presents.
Yeah, sure, man. When we went, I mean, my wife did all the heavy lifting. She made everything.
I'll make sure
I
to
just
send her a nice
put it in
note
a
later.
box and shipped it to you. But they didn't have big enough box, so I had to put it in 2 packages. Stupid post office.
And in case you're wondering what I got DJ for Christmas, he got a bonus check. I didn't actually buy him anything specifically.
Yeah, I didn't open it because it wouldn't have been very interesting for you, but it was very much appreciated.
I didn't get to see DJ in person this year, so I just sent him some cash.
So TH1 gives
like an estranged father that never spends the time to see his children.
Well, that's always how I've seen our relationship, really. Never able to live up to him, never able to make him proud.
Yeah, I was making fun of this whole situation at the beginning of this, and acting like this was the most important, like this would be like the most fun commentary. I don't know why. So far, I'm having so much fun with this commentary.
Well, probably because we barely talked about the film.
It's just been the best. Do you just put Quantum in front of everything? Yes! Yes, you do! The next film has Quantum in front of it!
That had to be intentional, or did they really do that?
I also think it's a problem that the word boring comes up as many times in this movie as it does.
Like, when you came up with Marvel Mania, that was like a fun, goofy name. You didn't think that there would be a Marvel film.
No, and it turns out a bunch of other things have also used Marvel Mania, and we're not original or creative in any way, and it's weird because the whole Mania series started with this, and then we did Batmania, and then we did Morphomania, and there's other things called Marvel Mania, apparently.
Mm. So this is the coolest thing about the movie. Just exactly like the first movie, the coolest thing about the movie is something that happened like 60 years ago, and we don't get to see it all.
Yeah, and one of my frustrations by the end of this movie was I was like, how do you put... And I think Fishburne is somewhat wasted in this role. Don't get me wrong. I think he gives a good performance. I appreciate that he's able to walk this line of, hero and antagonist, and that he, ultimately is pretty sympathetic by the end, but in helping this girl, he's willing to do some illegal stuff. You could compare him to Hank Pym from the first movie. He's doing the wrong things for the right reasons, and we can all decide for ourselves if he goes too far, but, he draws the line at kidnapping a little girl, at killing anyone, at really hurting anyone, that kind of thing. And then you get to the end, and we've got this great scene, and you can't tell me that when they first put this together, there was not a plan to actually have him in a suit and get big at some point in this movie. And it doesn't end up happening, and it's weird. Like, you've got the scene where he's like, oh, what's the biggest that they ever grew? And he says like 28 or 30 feet or something. And I don't always like this. The comparing sizes line in that scene is funny, because of the context. I like that. But then, he doesn't get to be Goliath in this movie. And I'm going to assume that they bring him back for Quantumania and he does it there. I'll be real surprised if he's not in that movie.
Yeah, or at least show like a flash or something of him back in the day. I want this. Like, this is what I want. I hate these Ant-Man movies, but I want this. And I know it's weird to do prequel stuff or like movies set in the past. I know they probably didn't do that many missions back then, but like, that's so cool to me that there were other superheroes back then, and that it's the actual Ant-Man and it's Goliath, and that sounds a lot more interesting.
What sucks is you would have to recast both actors probably. Like, I don't think you could get away with with doing the de-aging thing. I don't think the de-aged Hank Pym at the beginning of this looks nearly as good as the one at the beginning of the first movie.
Well, even if they could get it to look perfect, once they start moving around like old men, like that was the problem in Captain Marvel was.
Well, I thought that worked out okay. I honestly couldn't notice it outside of a couple of places, but
yeah.
And obviously this is nothing against Fishburne, but just being like totally fair and truthful about this, he'd have to lose some weight, I think, to even be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't hate Ant-Man, Mutalia. I hate this.
Although I'm also curious to see if maybe Fishburne has bulked up and gotten really fit again in order to do Matrix 4, because we know he's supposed to be in that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they'll do. Maybe it'll be like he bulked up for Matrix 4, and then they put him in Ant-Man 3, and they have some kind of like, you know, Quantumania. They have some kind of throwaway line about like, wow, you've been at the gym, and then. Okay, so the $65 million question: is this stuff funny to you or not?
Oh no,
I don't think it's especially funny either. A lot of pratfall humor.
I didn't think the first movie was funny.
More pratfall humor than even in the first movie. But we have, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself, but we have the whole thing here in a minute where he's going to be like a quarter of his size, and everybody's going to think he's a little kid in the school, and that stuff's not really funny to me. And I just feel like we're kind of wasting real estate and time on that. See, it's all about putting our characters in these comedic situations and having, say it with me, situation comedy. Before it's really, you know, about telling a great story. And so we waste a whole movie, and the very film right after Infinity War, which it's kind of fun that you have an inconsequential film like this right after Infinity War. I just wish it was better. But you waste a whole movie on what I wish had been the first act. Mutali says, I think the school stuff is funny. Writer asks if it's more or less funny than Deadpool 2. I think it's less funny than Deadpool 2, even though I didn't find a lot of that stuff as funny as other people did either.
Well, yeah, this is exactly like the baby legs. It's about on par. It's about the same.
And a comedy is subjective. I totally get that. It's just, if we had a more compelling story on top of this stuff, then I'm more okay with scenes like this, because this stuff's not for me, and I get that. But you also don't have the writing behind it. And you're also still being just as safe as you were the last movie. It's hard to build on some of the stuff you did last movie, to be fair, but you're being just as safe as you were with kind of dancing around, tiptoeing, pussyfooting around, you know, how morally ambiguous are these characters supposed to be? And it's annoying. Like, we kind of, you know, once again, we can't decide how much Hank Pym is to blame for the past that comes back to haunt him, dealing with Ghost. Like, are we supposed to blame him for what happens to her father or not? Because, like, it's just, oh, he fired that guy, and then he goes off and does experiments on his own, these ill-advised experiments, and then he blows himself up, and he gets his daughter this unfortunate condition where she's phasing in and out of reality. And it's like, I don't have enough details to really blame Pym for much of that. All I know is that he fired the guy. Like, that's all I've got. Mr. Roboto, Chill Out Super Chat. DJ, when is the Marvel Mania hat, socks, vests, etc.?
Vests, that'd be interesting.
It says Marvel on one side and Mania on the other.
Yeah, I don't think I could do anything else. I think shirts is kind of the. I mean, socks. I don't think you can iron on socks, can you?
If we went to Redbubble, obviously we could put it on all kinds of crazy stuff, but it would also cost a fortune.
Yeah. But is it worth it? That's the question.
At your leisure, would you send me any super chats that you see, DJ? I definitely
sure thing. We got a $20 super chat from Mr. TEdge1.
Oh, thanks.
He says, from my understanding, it does go off. However, it's okay.
Oh, we're gonna work for this super chat.
From my understanding, it does go off. However, it's usually a few seconds to a minute delay to allow for a mistake.
He's talking about the thing with
his foot got stuck and he couldn't get it back in the time.
Device, yeah.
Or that his Poe was just a deck.
Okay, I don't know what half of that means, but he's just saying that might actually happen with an anklet device.
Oh yeah. His Poe is just a deck. Thank you for the donation.
She's sleeping. Don't bother her. She's taking a nap. She's taking a phasing nap. I also want to know how much the like quantum realm is supposed to have to do with time. That whole thing is like not really dealt with and discussed. But there's, you get inklings that obviously it's connected, and because when you see her phasing, you'll see her shifting, where she's like moving in front of herself, and you'll see her like start to say a thing before her real self says a thing. So it's like she's getting ahead of herself. It's like she's like 3 seconds ahead or something. But then when you actually go to the quantum realm, you get the sense that the exact same amount of time has passed for Janet as it has for us outside of the quantum realm. And I would think time would pass differently there.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, I guess we have to have the exact same amount of years pass so our two characters could be the same age and still be with each other.
But you don't get the sense, I think, it's been a while, but I don't think in Endgame, Scott talks like it felt like 5 years for him when he was there. When you get to the end of this, Janet
that's true. He seems like he just pops out and it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on?
Yeah, it's like no time has passed. But he's in the quantum realm. What's the difference between what happened to him and what happened to Janet? I don't know. And you'd think, because the whole thing is, she can't use a regulator, right? She's shrinking and shrinking for eternity. You think time would be passing differently. It's not like she shrinks down and then she's just in this realm. Unless something changed in those 30 years, she would have kept shrinking. I don't understand how any of that works, and I don't think they do either. And so we're just usually throwing the word quantum around, but I don't know what it has to do with time or time travel or anything.
Is the quantum realm, like, isn't that a Fantastic Four thing?
I think so.
Or it's similar to I think it has a different name, but, like, did we just take this from Fantastic Four because they took Ultron from Ant-Man?
Well, and I think the bigger reason is because we didn't have the rights to use microverse, because what they're really doing is the microverse.
Yeah, I knew it was a different called a different thing, but it's basically
okay.
The same
So
thing.
Her father dared disagree with the great Hank Pym, and then he fired him. Oh, and discredited him for good measure, which means it's a good idea for him to go do this research on his own. I don't know, like. You can blame him for ruining the guy's life, but I don't see how you're blaming him at all for what happened to you. Like, and maybe she's not entirely, but I just cannot decide how much the movie is trying to say that he is at fault for this. And he does take some kind of responsibility for it to a degree, it seems like, in trying to help later at the end. But I don't know if that's just because he's a decent enough person he would have helped her anyway. He never apologizes or anything. I don't know how Hank Pym feels about this. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this.
It's like this is like the thing they do with Tony Stark all the time.
John Kelly says her father is Egghead. He shows up and sounds exactly like Vincent Price.
He looked like a cross between Michael Chiklis and Voldemort.
He did. That's true.
Especially with like the black robes he was wearing. Chiklis Mort. Best name we've ever come up with. I love when we're in one of these kind of moods where we just mash two words together. That's how you can tell what kind of mood we're in. So we just start mashing two words together.
That's a mania kind of thing to do.
Whoa.
Now the de-aging there looks really good. If we're even doing any, or very much. I mean, it kind of helps that we just put a beard on him.
Yeah, his eyes look a little weird when you take away the wrinkles, but yeah, it looks great. It always works better when you have actors who we're familiar with their work when they were young, because you're used to it. Like, when they have to pull it from like footage that we're not used to, like old footage like they did with Tony Stark when he was like 15 or whatever.
Yeah.
It always looks.
It's like, hey, wait a minute, he doesn't look like himself. This effect didn't work very well. I was like, no, you just don't know what he looked like when he was 15.
Yeah, you just don't know. And you look at a photo and you're like, oh yeah, that is what he looked like.
Now, speaking of trying to, match older characters looking younger, that little girl they cast doesn't look anything like her at all. And part of the reason I think Michelle Pfeiffer was brilliant casting is I would have never thought to put her side by side with Evangeline Lilly, but if you look at the way they like hold their mouth and facial expressions, it's really similar. Like they don't right at a glance look a whole lot like each other, but they have similar mannerisms.
Whoa! Apparently, why it looks so good is it's not de-aging. It's actually Fishburne's son.
Wait,
saying
what?
In the chat.
Is it really?
Is that true? Are they lying to us? Is
I don't
real?
believe you. His son looks that much like him?
Maybe they digitally like tweaked him a little bit, but because it did look a little weird. But yeah,
This is me not believing you. I'm gonna look that up.
Whose son? They did it in Black Panther too, right? Didn't they use someone's son?
I think so, yeah. But it
For
didn't look like
Charles
exactly like the guy. That just looks like Fishburne. That's crazy.
That's awesome.
But yeah, he gives a really earnest performance in this. And I said this with the first Ant-Man movie too. I think this is mediocre material executed really, really well. I mean, all my complaints are at the script level. Everybody's saying it's true. That's nuts.
Are you looking forward to the day where you can use Jason to make old Geekvolution videos for you?
Oh yeah, no. What I'll do is I'll have him make an entire series of videos that I pretend like are just old videos I forgot to ever export. This video is 15 years old, you guys. Yeah, the actor for Young T'Chaka. That's who it was. Utali mentioned that, yeah.
Help him, man! Come on!
Okay, so somebody explain to me how this Altoid tin thing works. I don't understand that. So when you...
Why do they pop out immediately? Yeah.
So when you open it, what makes the ants get large? Because the technology they have for that is a little device that you throw on them. So they can't be on them already, or they would have gotten big all... I don't know what it is about, like, removing a lid.
Okay. If you had them... I don't know. If you had them on the bottom, but attached to the lid with something, and then something on top of them, so they weren't touching the ants, and then when you pulled the lid off, it pulled those out with it, it could maybe touch them, but it would be a gamble if it hit all of them.
Yeah, Lewis, I know that's why they can't call it the Microverse. It's because Hasbro owns that. But the thing is, it's like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, because it isn't just the Microverse. They're also doing kind of a weird, like, trippy time thing with it. But not really. Like, just visually. But then also, yes, because when you get to Endgame, he's not been in it for 5 years in his mind. But she experienced 30 years of passing. I also... One of my biggest reservations about this movie, DJ, is I don't buy that Janet is there that long and is completely
Normal.
fully well-adjusted. She's not, like...
No, she'd be insane.
She's not changed by that at all. It doesn't have any effect on her whatsoever.
She's just been living with parameciums.
I mean, I didn't buy it with Aquaman's mom when she's, like, on an island by herself for a bunch of years. And that's an island. This is, like, another universe where you have no one to talk to, and everything's all, like, amorphous and weird and abstract. It's like, you tell me that you could, like, live in the Escher painting where you just go up and down stairs constantly for 30 years and it wouldn't drive you insane.
Yeah, and didn't those two come out, like, so close together and they were so similar?
Yeah, actually, that's true. Yeah.
I feel like I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp right after Aquaman or vice versa, and I was like, what?
Well, no. Actually, Aquaman was a year after this, right? This was 2016?
2016.
Or was this 2016? No, wait. Where are we right now?
This is after Infinity War.
I know. I'm sorry. I have been working on a lot of movies this week, and I momentarily forgot where we were. Yep. This
Where
is
are
later
we right now?
I think you're right. I think this is the same year as Aquaman.
I think I remember being super close together, and I was like, what?
Sorry, I'm also working on a 2016 movie right now.
Oh, that's true. I know what that is. Oh, well, my name is Sonny Birch.
Okay, DJ, I'm sorry for doing this to you, but I need you to hold the fort for a couple minutes.
I'll be right back. I'll talk about this guy's southern accent.
I'll be quick, I promise. I wish I could just put this guy on camera. Just, like, set him up there. But...
Just gotta get him a stand.
Cap, he's gonna have his own tripod. It's like Cap's got a selfie stick. Look, I'll be right back.
All right, guys. What do you want to talk about? Cap's away. The mice will play. Ooh, a super chat. I'll save that for Cap. Thank you, Mr. Roboto. I won't waste your super chat on me. We'll both discuss it. His good friend Uzman. Thank you, Daniel Davis. Daniel Davis says that Ant-Man was in the summer, Aquaman was in December. I guess not too close, but I remember seeing them close together. Maybe I saw Ant-Man late. Blue Dragon 5 says he's going to do another wardrobe change. Probably. He really liked that purple Geek Pollution shirt. Butali, DJ, why do you hate Scott Lang? I don't hate Scott Lang. I just don't know much about Scott Lang, and I prefer the original Ant-Man. And you guys know I don't usually go for comedies. I like my comedy most in within real movies. So when it's just a comedy, I kind of check out.
I'm back. A dinosaur story.
Oh, you are back. I didn't even notice you. I was looking at the chat so intently, I didn't even see you.
Wow. You know what? That's fine. I got other errands to run. My mind is blown that was apparently Fishburne's son. I can't get my mind around that.
Blue Dragon 5 says the actor who plays Polka Dot Man is in Suicide Squad is one of Ant-Man's pals, Kurt. Which one is Kurt? I don't know which one Kurt is, but that's interesting.
Is that the black guy?
Has to be, because you said Louise was the other one.
Yeah, and then the other guy's got like a Russian name. But yeah, you see what I mean with the shifty thing that she does? Like a part of her, there's like a quantum echo that moves before the real person does. It's really interesting. It's cool. It's all freaky, but I don't get why. It's not funny. Stop it.
Wait, so what was it that they gave him?
Truth serum.
But even the torturer guy said it wasn't truth serum.
That's the joke.
What?
I know, it's not funny. It's totally nonsensical. Where it's like, it's this thing that makes you tell the truth. And then Louis says, oh, it's truth serum. No, it's not truth. And then they pay it off at the end where it makes them all tell the truth. And then one of them goes, the bad guys, and then one of them goes, oh, it is truth serum. But what you described, you could describe as that. It's dumb, and I don't like it.
He stinks, and I don't like him.
Exactly. And then, as much as I liked this kind of gimmick in the first movie, where Luis explains a bunch of stuff in a roundabout way and puts his voice in other people's mouths, we're kind of wasting time with it this time around. It kind of just feels like we haven't done that yet, so we got to get that in here somewhere.
Yeah, we always do this, right? We did this with Quicksilver. It's like, oh, everyone thought that was the best part of the movie, so we got to do it again in the next one.
Well, and if you're going to do it again, it needs to be, I don't know, it needs to be either creatively used in a different way or used for precisely the same reason and feel warranted, if that makes any sense. I mean, the thing with Quicksilver was just repeating that same thing, but like huge, huge, grandiose way. Here it's him giving a bunch of exposition that is like really unnecessary in a scene that, and I get that part of the joke is it's unnecessary, but like, I don't know, he's talking about like how Hope and Scott are into each other and how they're all over each other and stuff, and like, it's a scene that I'm already not invested in. Like, I don't need this scene. Also, the Baba Yaga thing is really odd, right? Because we've got that also in John Wick. Ridiculous. And in John Wick, Baba Yaga is the boogeyman. And in this, Baba Yaga is the witch. And I'm like, well, now I gotta do research to find out which it actually is in Russian mythology.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So now we use the lab itself as a MacGuffin, which is kind of fun,
it's such a weird thing. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Like, everyone's trying to get a lab.
But yeah, having this, like, secondary villain in this movie feels like a way just to drag it out longer. It's like they really, really want that 2-hour runtime.
I know. These movies do not need that. They're comedies.
Nope,
Why
it should be an hour and a half tops.
Hour and a half movies anymore?
Yep. No, it drives me nuts. I mean, it's not Wonder Woman 84 bad in how, elongated it is and decompressed, but like,
I don't usually watch honest trailers. I actually watched not all of it, but I watched some of that one for Wonder Woman 84, and when they're showing them just like walking around the museum, they're trying to illustrate how stretched and long it is. It's pretty funny. Because I didn't realize how it's like Power Rangers. It's like the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie where we watch them walk all the way off screen.
Oh no! You gotta see every single one of them leave the frame. But yeah, if you axe that secondary villain plot, then you're good. I mean, I get why that's there, because we want to have some kind of conflict to make things more personal for Scott's friends, because they've got this new startup business and they're having a hard time staying afloat. But besides Luis, the rest of them aren't even in the movie that much. And I just feel like all of that could be kind of a like background thing that we don't even have to see everything of. And when you get to the end and Luis, helps Scott, win at the end, and then the public, hears that their business was involved in all of that, and then that's what saves their business. That's all you need, because Luis doesn't have a character arc. He's not a character we're worried about what's going to happen to his livelihood. We know that's going to work out at the end, probably. He's still just here for comic relief, so we don't need a whole subplot about that. And that subplot's not just about that either. It's to have, like a 3-pronged, kind of war thing happening in a microcosm.
Yeah.
Quantum cosm.
John Kelling.
I can't say micro. Let's see, because Hasbro owns it.
And I don't know if this is true, but I'm saying what John Kelling says in the chat. He says Baba Yaga is a witch. Girl.
Hope is a velociraptor. Sorry.
Alan. John Kelling.
Alan.
I've killed Cap. I love how I always wait for when you're drinking to say my best lines. John Kelling says Baba Yaga is a witch that operates as a boogeyman for kids in Russian mythology.
My mind is blown. It's both. I was like, which of these isn't accurate? Oh, neither of them is.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Although, what is our boogie? Like, at least they know what their boogeyman is.
I'm sorry. He keeps asking me this. I don't know who Eric O'Grady is right off. So that's why I have not been answering that question. I would have to look that up. I don't know who we're talking about. Anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like, have you ever thought about that? Like, if their boogeyman is a witch, what is our boogeyman? I don't even know what our boogeyman is. It's just like this amorphous thing.
I'm gonna go with the Grim Reaper, I'm gonna say it's both.
It's just a Grim Reaper that happens to be moonlighting as the
Boogeyman carries a scythe. Yeah, that's a second job. Everybody needs a second job these days.
I mean, yeah, these days.
Just, he's tight on cash, the Boogeyman.
All right, let me
It's
get
been real tough for him to go collect souls for the devil while he's been on lockdown because of the virus.
Let's get back to some of these super chats here. Azim.
He's got a mask on all the time, the Grim Reaper. So he's allowed. Yeah. He has to social distance with his scythe now. So when he's taking people's souls, he's doing it like this for a distance. He's got like a longer scythe now. I also like how at the end of this they just suddenly have a smaller one, like a smaller quantum tunnel.
Oh, okay, I was like, you're still talking about the Grim Reaper?
Right now they've got this. Sorry, I'm talking about the movie now. So they have this big tunnel, right? And then at the end, there's this throwaway line where it's like, yeah, we've got a smaller one now. And it's like, okay, so were you able to make the technology smaller, or did it just suddenly occur to you we've had the ability to shrink things all along?
Why does the True Serum make him so like hyper?
I think that's just how he is. I don't think that has anything to do with the True Serum. I mean, he had lines like that in the first movie, and that's him improvising. And I think his ad libs were probably. I could be wrong. I think his ad libs were better in the first movie. I still like him. I like that actor a lot. I've seen him in other stuff. I think he's great.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a lot. Wasn't he in that Dora the Explorer?
Oh, Cinematographics. See, I'm not looking things up, so I'm just taking you at your word. He goes, that was a joke. I don't know if there's actually a boogeyman. Oh, okay. Are you talking about with the witch thing? Was that you?
No, that was John Kelly. That was a different guy. I don't know who Cinematographics talking to.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to trust anything now. I still don't even know if I believe that was Lawrence Fishburne's son. I'm just kidding.
All right, here we go. Azim. Let's see if you believe Azim. He gives us a $5 super chat to say,
hi, Azim.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, the second most generic MCU film, right behind Thor the Dark World.
Right behind Thor the Dark World. I totally agree. Yeah, because what Thor the Dark World doesn't have is giant Pez dispenser, and that would have helped it a lot.
There's that triumphantness.
It's not bad.
It doesn't make me think of Ant-Man, but yeah, it's...
No, it sounds like something you'd hear in like a generic, like Disney superhero movie. I mean, I realize that Disney owns Marvel, but I mean, like a thing they would like. That sounds like it should be in Sky High or something. Like,
yeah. Oh no. Why does making him big make the ant like able to like sit up like a human and take baths and eat Fruit Loops and
because there is kind of a throwaway explanation for that too, because all the explanations are throwaway. Look, they only have so much time, okay? They're making a 2-hour film.
They only have
this
2
material.
hours.
But yeah, I think that they're able to like in the hypnotic thing that they send to the ants, they're able to wire them so they can like do whatever Scott was doing. So they're just programmed to act that way. They don't do it of their own accord.
Okay. And I guess it extends their life too, because I assume ants don't live for 2 years.
Well, they haven't been doing this for 2 whole years. They only have to do it for a couple of days. So he's 3 days away at the beginning of this from getting out of house arrest, because all the timing of this is convenient, right? Like, he's 3 days away from that when Janet comes to him in his dreams and he realizes that he has this connection with her, and when Ghost is about to die, it's very, very convenient.
Coincidence?
I think so.
I think so. Have we done a commentary on that? Have you done any Pixar commentaries?
I don't think... Toy Story I did with Eric. I think that's about it.
Oh.
No, Incredibles we did as well.
Oh, okay. That's right.
So a couple. But yeah, you and I have talked about Cars, about doing Cars forever.
We'll do Cars. That'll be like the first thing we do once Mania's over.
It might be fun to do a Pixar Mania. I don't know how much interest there would be in that, but I could try to get Jeff in for that. if we decided to do. I don't know if we'd make it a Mania or just occasional commentaries, but if we decided to do a thing like that.
Yeah, you don't know if you want to lock into doing all of them, but some of them you definitely love to do.
That's right. The business meetings even pervade into Marvel Mania.
TH1, hey, that's the teacher from Far From Home. Does his daughter go to Peter's school? Great show tonight. I don't know. That was a long time ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know who we're talking about.
I'm assuming he's talking about the teacher that was yelling at him in the hallway. Where's your hall pass?
Oh, wait. DJ, were you on the Toy Story commentary and you don't remember it?
I don't think so.
Noah says you were there.
I'll take your word for it. Toy Story commentary. Oh, yeah.
Was Eric there? Was it me and you and Eric, or was it just me and you? Actually, I think it was just me and you.
I think it was just me and you. I do remember
you know what?
OBS.
That was one of our surprise commentaries, wasn't it? We did a few of those
before
we did Marvel Mania. We did a few of those, and then we did a couple of streaming wars, and then we started this. And any and all of that is likely to come back later, guys. We just haven't been doing those lately because we've been doing this.
Yeah, that's right. It was a mystery commentary. So we started Pixar Mania.
I love those. We are talking about keeping commentaries going a couple times a month still after this when we finish Marvel Mania. They just won't necessarily be Manias. They'll just be random things.
Yeah. We got that time slot. We're used to it. John Kelling, $5 super chat. The Ant-Man movies have had some of the more lackluster antagonists in the MCU. What villains would you use for him? Personally, I'd use MODOK and AIM.
That's a fun idea. I don't dislike that at all. Well, we're getting Kang in 3, and if these were less generic, I would be happy about that. But I understand why people are upset about that. People who really like that character. I still say that there's a good chance that that's not the only time we'll see him. But I also am a little bit, unsure of what the characterization is going to be like. So even if we get more of it later, these guys getting to, the people making these movies getting to create Kang, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I would love MODOK and AIM too, but I don't want them in these movies because they're just...
The nice thing about not using any major Marvel rogues so far is that we haven't had a chance to genericify or ruin anything in these really superfluous throwaway movies. But it's kind of this like chicken and the egg thing. It's like, well, if you had one of those characters in these, would it light a fire under them where suddenly they're less generic and they're written better? Because that's possible.
Maybe so.
So the problem might be that they've had to resort to these kinds of villains. And again, I don't hate Ghost. I just don't think it's especially inspired, and I'm taken out by how convenient it is that she is like the opposite side of the quantum coin just while we're going to get Janet. That's so silly to me. And I don't think all that timing had to be as convenient. Not everything has to be a ticking time bomb. It's good to have one to create a sense of urgency in your movie, but, like, does it have to be 48 hours before he gets out of house arrest at the same time as she's got days to live? Like, maybe one or the other, right? Like, I get that she's desperate, but I think... If you said she has a year or two to live, she'd still be pretty desperate. Especially if this was the only chance she had. If it was like, well, I would have to wait another century before it opened up and I had a chance to do this again. Well, okay, then if she's even got 5 years to live, she'd be the same sort of desperate. She doesn't have another shot than right now, and then it wouldn't feel as convenient. You don't need to be days away.
Well, and why does it have to be 48 hours before he's getting out of house arrest? Why can't it just be, if he leaves house arrest, he's gonna mess it up either way. It doesn't matter if it's about to end.
So that we can see him get out at the end. That's all. That's all that is.
What's in that guy's mouth? Why does that guy have his necklace in his mouth? That was a choice. He has his necklace in his mouth, yeah.
That is an extra going, I am doing something with this prop to get noticed, and it worked. Somebody's talking about him on the internet now. And I guarantee you, nobody would have been talking about that guy on the internet if he hadn't put that necklace in his mouth.
That's what I should have done as the welder. We got more screen time if I stuck my necklace in my mouth.
Because this is inconspicuous.
Oh, it's Finding Nemo.
Wouldn't it be great if there was
You're gonna want to find something called the East Australian Current.
It'd be great if there was a turtle telling them how to get places right now. It's like, whoa.
So TH1 says Scott specifically says it only felt like 5 hours for him in Endgame.
Say it again.
So yeah, Scott specifically says it only felt like 5 hours. So yeah, they come out and say that it wasn't 5 years for him. That's so weird.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned that earlier. Mr. Botticelli Super Chat, if Arrow can come out saying, so can Janet Cap. Different situations. He's on an island. Also, he didn't come out totally saying in that show, to be fair.
TH1 also
he
talked
turns
about
into
the
a murderer right after that, basically. I mean, he's killing bad people, but like, and he's really obsessive and stuff, and he has a hard time making relationships with people. I'm telling you, Janet Van Dyne is exactly the same person when she leaves as she was when she came in, and also. It's possible there's dialogue in between these scenes that we didn't see, but it totally watches like she knows how much time has passed. And I don't know if she, because she says to him, like, in the last 30 years. And I'm like, how do you know it's been 30 years? You've been in this abstract plane of existence.
It should feel like 30 hours.
Is the idea that she is able to, like, peer out and see things almost like a ghost or something? Because I could buy her being more sane if she basically has, like, a magic mirror on the wall sort of thing, where she's looking out of the quantum realm at reality.
How they just looked at him is how I look at this whole movie. It's like, I know that was supposed to be funny to you.
Yeah, and we're just wasting time. Like, it's just not that funny. And like, you have to keep the reason it's supposed to be funny is because he keeps it going. But that's the kind of MCU humor that a lot of people are sick of and complaining that we keep doing all the time. And I think it's time to maybe retire some of that. Make a little tighter a little bit tighter movies. Maybe not rely. I know some people find this really funny, but I just have some variety. Maybe not every movie has to rely as much on awkward humor. That scene where we talked over it, and I'm kind of glad that we did, but that because I don't like it. But that scene where Scott's phone keeps going off and interrupting Goliath as he keeps while he's trying to do a speech. I'm like, we do that in almost every one of these movies.
That's the Far From Home thing that you hate.
Yeah, and I hate it. I hate it more there than anywhere. I think that's the worst. But they have it here too. And what's weirder about it here, and actually, I think most of these scenes are like this. Somebody keeps getting interrupted by a thing that they have to intellectually know is going to go off again. Somebody's phone rings, and you keep talking like you expect it to stop ringing. Don't you know how phones work?
No, it rings. It
wasn't a text. Clearly, it's a ring. Someone's calling. It's amazing it only went off 3 times.
Man, do you Ghost's costume kind of looks like a action figure that wasn't painted.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Now I want to buy one and paint it. What color should we paint it?
I don't know. It's just like matte gray.
Yeah, but she's a ghost.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just
okay.
When she was putting it on there, because her helmet was sitting over on the side, and I thought it was like an unused helmet, but then that was her actual helmet.
That was my favorite criticism of anything. Hey, your suit's too white, ghost.
It just looks like it looks like that same plastic that you have when you have a figure that's not painted.
Yeah, Blue Dragon 5 says closest we're ever going to get to Douglas in an Ant-Man suit. It's nice that he does the dive, I guess, just so that he gets to finally do something kind of Ant-Man-y. It's a little tedious that the big conflict at the end of this is he's trying to get back out, and he's just waiting for them to finally get that building away from, like, really incompetent thieves.
But yeah, exactly what
the joke is that you have this really inconsequential plot that is kind of stopping a much more consequential thing from happening. I'm sorry, what were we gonna say?
No, I was just going back to what you were saying about the comedy. Like, there's different kinds of comedy, guys. Like, that's why I like WandaVision so much. Because they have a style, they have a comedy, and they do it really well.
And also, they have to keep subtly adjusting it because they're going to go to different sitcoms every time.
Yeah, that's what's going to be awesome to see how they can... Because if they can do all of the types of comedy well, then why can't they do different movies with different senses of humor?
Yeah, and they're certainly not using anything as a crutch in that, because the hardest thing to write in that show has to be the comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And striking that balance where you're trying to make something funny and also, like, quaint at the same time. Because I did find myself laughing out loud at stuff that's supposed to be like 50s comedy. And not every joke did I laugh at. And I feel like you can kind of tell. And again, comedy is relative, but there are places where I feel like I'm not supposed to be laughing, where it's like, that's a joke, but for a 50s audience, and so the thing that's funny is that it's not funny. But then there's other things that are legitimately amusing, but still fit naturally in that. Anyway, all I want to do is talk about that.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
But your point stands in that there's no excuse, because that's as nuanced as it is, and in this continuity. And
Ren Davis says
we're using this awkward stuff as a crutch.
Ren Davis says, different kinds of comedy, DJ? What kind of sorcerer are you talking about? I don't know, man. I'm sorry for trying to branch out.
Daniel Davis, I mean, WandaVision is a TV show. Marvel likes consistency, but your writing can be better. That's all we're saying. And that's not even a time issue with WandaVision. It's not even like, well, you've got more time to play around with it because they're doing, 30-minute sitcoms. Yeah, so there's an example of a payoff to a thing that I just didn't need paid off and didn't think was funny in the first place, where they had that whole thing earlier about the undercarriage wash. They keep going on about that, and then he looks up and goes, Luis, oh, that undercarriage is filthy. It's funny because he's paying off a joke from an hour ago, but I didn't like that scene in the first place. So the only stuff that I really kind of perk up for is all of this, vehicles getting bigger and smaller stuff. This chase is really fun. I think it's really well storyboarded. And this is the way that I want to see the action ramped up from the first movie, where it's still really, small, diminutive by comparison to other MCU movies action, but we have ramped up. It is bigger from last movie. The situation, actually, the stakes are smaller than last movie, because we were going to sell that suit to Hydra. Like, it was higher stakes than this, but the action is bigger, and so I enjoy the juxtaposition of that.
Yeah, it was in the first movie. There was like big stakes in the background, but like they ended it, and then like a little girl's room was the final action scene.
Which is kind of brilliant.
Yeah. This should be terrifying. I will say one thing about this movie. It made me realize how terrifying this should be.
How terrifying?
Like, just giant bacteria looking at you. Like, it's horrifying. Like, if you were this small. And they're like, that's what bacteria do. They just find something and just, like, attack it.
Writer, Cap doesn't like this movie because he can't have a daughter of his own. We'll see, sir. We will see.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch.
My wife is pregnant again, and we're not going to find out until the day, so hopefully you're wrong.
He's just building up, building up the excitement or the disappointment.
Stephen Murphy said that was the last Stan Lee cameo while Stan Lee was still alive.
Man. What a bummer. That's a good speed vault through a car. So does she basically have Kitty Pryde's powers?
Well, sort of.
There's your
Yeah,
Pez
I
dispenser.
mean, when she's actually able to turn it on and off. So apparently the idea is that if she's in that suit, she can control it. So yeah, she would have Kitty Pryde's powers. But when she's not in the suit, she's sometimes is phasing and sometimes isn't.
You ever thought about how complicated it would be to use Kitty Pryde's powers? Because you can't just like turn it on and off. You have to like turn on parts of your body and off other parts of your body, so you don't go through the floor when you're running
And
through
there
a
are stories that deal with
building,
that
like-
too. Yeah, with how much you'd have to concentrate to make sure that, because you'd have to use every muscle in your body.
Yeah, it'd be really weird.
You'd basically have this extra ability in every limb, and your brain wouldn't have to know that.
Yeah.
You'd have to sensory input. Yeah, it'd be crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it could become involuntary eventually if you use it enough, but like when you're first learning.
Oh yeah, I forgot he had one in Venom. Stephen Murphy. Ren Davis kept me as a daughter named Carrie. That is what her name will be. Yes, indeed. And I said will, because it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
So one thing I don't get is, like, it's a cool effect. So I mean, I don't guess I care, but this is just a question. She's supposed to be able to control the power when she's a ghost, when she's in the suit. But the suit looks like it's phasing quite a bit, even when she's not intentionally using the power. And so I was confused on first viewing, where it seemed like she couldn't control it, and the suit was maybe just keeping her alive. Like, I was confused at first as to what exactly it did.
It's a weird little grunt she did when she hit the car. Are you bummed by how little yellow is on the Wasp's suit?
That's a good point.
It's just black.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I would love... like,
It's not like she's being covert or anything. She just walks out in that restaurant in full costume.
I don't usually need explanations for stuff like this, but I do find myself wondering about it, I think mostly just because they make the mistake of pointing it out. Oh, look, it's the superhero diner from how it should have ended.
That's true. Someone should add Superman and Batman sitting there
It's exactly that angle.
when they go by.
I'm sure that if they did a video for this movie, I'm sure they did a gag about that, but I don't remember, or I didn't see it. I forget. But, yeah, I was talking about something.
Something about the costume. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm only questioning this because they made the mistake of calling attention to it, and this was in the trailer too, but when Ant-Man, or when Scott is like, oh, so I guess you didn't have the technology when you made my suit to make me fly, and all of that, he's like, no, I did. It makes me go, okay, why did he only have one of them with wings? Like, why didn't Hank Pym give himself that also?
He just liked ants, man. He liked hanging out with ants.
But there's ants with wings. We have them all over these movies.
That's what I'm saying. He liked flying on the ant instead of flying with his own wings.
Oh, okay. I thought you just meant because of the motif he couldn't have wings because he's an ant, not a wasp.
No, he flies on an ant with wings.
Oh. But yeah, but he doesn't give himself the repulsors either. Why wouldn't you do that?
That's because that's what happens in the comics.
I know that, but that's my point, is that now that the movie asked the question, it's very distracting.
Yeah, you don't want to... They do that a lot where it's like, well, because we brought it up, that makes it okay. No, that makes it worse.
No, it makes it worse. Just don't talk about it. It's a conceit until you start talking about it. And then it's not a conceit anymore. Then you're pointing out, this is not realistic. This doesn't make sense. And by saying, look how not realistic it is, you're saying that this is a realistic world. Or that you think it is. To some degree. Okay, so, like, look at the, like, thousands and possibly millions of dollars of cars in that. And it's like if he purchased all that, he bought like Mack trucks and...
Is that a PT Cruiser? What is that?
I like that when he hits that car, the little car, it doesn't actually crush it because it would be more durable than an actual Hot Wheels car because it's a wheel car. I think I like that. I don't buy that it's outrunning that big car, though.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like,
it
think
still
about this. Call it nitpicking. I don't care. It's going to be amusing to talk about. When you're driving, this tiny, tiny car that's like, slightly large, maybe like 3 times larger than a Hot Wheels car, right? And you're trying to outrun a car that's probably going like 70, 80 miles an hour. How fast do you have to be going according to your speedometer in the tiny car? And then when you get large, if you still have your foot on the pedal, like, all the way down, wouldn't it suddenly be going way faster than it was going?
Yeah, I mean, cars only go like 120 miles per hour. So he'd be maxed out.
That's what I mean. If he's maxed out, once it gets bigger, he should blow the engine up or something. I don't even.
Why do we need this? Why? I watched a whole movie of his suit not working, and now I have to watch the second movie of his suit still not working.
Yeah.
Can he just be Ant-Man?
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
It's that stupid. You're still not quite there yet, even at the end of your second movie. And that's one of those things where I'm saying that we're repeating too many of the beats from the first movie. So like the plot itself is not beat for beat the first movie, but all the stuff with the actual character kind of is. Because you're right, like now he knows how to use the suit. Because last movie it wasn't that the suit didn't work, it was that he didn't know what he was doing yet. Now he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't have the resources. The suit doesn't work right, and it ends up being too convenient in places where it actually does what he wants it to when it's been screwing up.
Yeah, it's that Spider-Man 2 thing where it's like, oh, his power's not working now, and then like it's gonna work later. Like
now the scene needs it to, so it's fine. I forget where, but there's a place in this third act where it's been messing up constantly, and he like in a split-second moment presses a button to make it shrink or grow at the right moment, and if that hadn't worked, he's dead or the movie's over or something. I forget where it is. Hopefully we haven't been.
It's like his
already,
suit is like a sentient being.
Writer says they effed up the shrink and grow physics.
It's just messing with them. It's like he has a symbiote suit.
In what way, Writer? Because I remember thinking that too in the theater, and I was racking my brain watching this last time trying to remember what my issue with it was, and I could not remember. I had something about that where it was like, this isn't how the shrink and grow thing worked, or they've simplified it. There was something weird with the devices you throw. I cannot remember what it was. And now Hank Pym in No Man's Sky.
Still terrifying.
Michael
this,
Douglas
like,
is
monster.
No Man's Sky.
You didn't know we were getting a backdoor No Man's Sky movie from this.
Psycho Reviewer, I think the MCU Spider-Man films are better versions of the Ant-Man movies. I like that. I don't think you're totally wrong about that. I mean, they are also Spider-Man movies, but there are things about those that I think could have been applied to these. I'll go with you that for. Yeah, Blue Dragon 5. It's said to be somewhere between 65 and 68 feet, I think.
Daniel Davis.
Mutali, I think the visual effects in this is great. I mean, there are places where it's dodgy, but I think that scene in particular with the giant Ant-Man looks really good, and then the Quantum Realm still is cool. And then of course he's got to have like weird freaky visions because we don't want to pay to use those effects this entire time.
Yo, why is he having weird... It's like, I feel like I'm in X-Men Apocalypse right now. Where in the middle of an action scene we go into Professor X just walking through that school with Jean.
Oh, yeah. And see, look, she's going to be perfectly fine.
I do like her like ninja
Scott
swords.
Not there long enough for her to do this last time, or does she have like?
He's only there 5 years, man.
No. Last time that happens after this.
Oh, okay, I got
I'm talking about when he was there at the end of Ant-Man. Because what I'm saying is, he was there long enough for them to build this weird mental link that he didn't know about until he dreamed about it.
Well, is there a way he specifically found her this time?
Well, yeah, you know what? You're right.
Like
That's true. But how easy, if they have that mind link thing, how easy would it have been for her to just, like, call out, "I'm over here," and then you just contrive him, like, as he's shrinking, he's like, "Oh, I can sort of control where I'm going," and then they wind up in the same place, and, like, I don't know. I think that's dumb, but people probably would have bought it as well as we bought this.
Yeah, I don't think he was.
I'm just holding it to its own standards, man.
To be looking for anyone when he was like going in there for the first time. It'd be terrifying.
But are you with me? After we had to sit through a whole movie that's just about finding her finally, couldn't we have just done it already? Like,
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, this whole movie's kind of superfluous. This could have been like the opening scene.
And it's also really weird that they probably weren't sure yet, of course, if they were going to make a sequel to this. So I'm sure this isn't why they didn't do it. But in hindsight, anyway, I'm admitting that this is a retroactive complaint. But it's weird that that's not the after credit scene of the last movie. The after credit scene is Hope is going to get to be the Wasp. She gets her outfit. It should have been the opening scene of this if you're going to do this anyway, where it's like, I know where she is. And then here's the Wasp suit, and maybe the setup is she's gonna go get her. And now that I'm thinking about it, as cool I guess as it is to get to see Hank Pym finally do Ant-Man stuff, it might have been nice if she'd gone to get her own mom so that she got more to do in a movie with the Wasp in the title. Because I still say the only reason it's there, it's not even like it's one of the protagonists, it's the conflict. Like, the other part of the title is the thing we're after, not one of the heroes.
So it's like Indiana Jones and the the thing he's trying to get.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Crystal Skull.
You could almost now to be fair, Hope of course does get to be a superhero in this, and she is fighting in costume and stuff. But again, it's much more still Scott's story than it is hers. If you were really on about this kind of thing, you would, and I don't think you should totally ignore that, because that is there. But if you were really on about this sort of thing, that Marvel took too long to finally have a like solo female superhero movie, or even a superhero movie with a female superhero name in the title, you could argue that the female superhero name in the title is more about a damsel in distress than it is a superhero. You could throw that argument if you really wanted to.
Underwater scene. We don't get many of these in the MCU. We get Iron Man and Avengers.
Oh, that's right, Blue Dragon 5. It was 85 feet, because the 65 feet was what was how big he was in Civil War. That's what it was. Day Ghost. Hi, Austin. He says, it's okay. I don't think it's awful, but it's not good either. It's probably the most generic MCU film. Yep. Yeah, because we were saying earlier maybe second most generic, but I think it's second most dull. I think it may even still be more generic over Dark World. Although, I don't know if I'm comfortable saying that. Yeah. Maybe not.
I mean, I don't want to watch either of them, but I don't know, at least when you get to the point where you have to like say, well, at least this has this one thing, like at least this has a couple good Loki scenes.
Yeah.
That I can hang my hat on. And
And then when he runs up like this, something about the expression on Fishburne's face and how urgent all this feels. I'm in the theater thinking, oh man, he's gonna rip off a suit somehow.
I guess.
He's gonna get big.
I don't know what him being like 20 feet tall right now would help. It's not really a conflict.
I just mean like somewhere in this, because I don't know what else is gonna happen in this third act. But it's like, what I mean is, he's out running, and we're in the big climax. He's surely going to get big here in a minute for some reason. Nope. What is she, the Mandalorian?
This is the way.
Writer, I really don't get how quantum physics of it all direct crossover more with Doctor Strange. That's not a sentence, but I understand what you were saying. Yeah, I don't either. I don't either entirely. Writer, no, Captain Marvel is the most generic. I don't know if generic is the right word for that, but maybe. That's definitely in there.
This is what you do, man. Is there like a school in acting, a class in acting school where like you learn to do this when you're changing into something else?
Yes.
'Cause, like, this is the standard
And it's taught
thing.
by Michael J. Fox. He's been teaching that class since 1985.
Oh, yeah, man, stuck small, so she just kicks him around. Hilarious.
I think, guys, in the comments saying I'm ignoring Captain Marvel because it's also pretty generic. Yeah, I mean, I said maybe that's not the right word for it, but the more I'm thinking about it, no, I think you're, because somebody said it's pretty forgettable. Yeah, a lot of it is. I think what saves it from being as generic as it could have been is just Fury.
Yeah, I'm interested to see.
It's more
going
got a
back to that.
prequelitis issue with me. That's my biggest thing with it. But you're right. The characterization and character arc for her definitely is, because she doesn't really have an arc. But I'm sorry, what were you saying, DJ?
No, I'm just saying I'm interested to go back to that one because I enjoyed it in the theater, but I haven't gone back to it since. So we shall see.
Yay, we're at the end. We got our first act plot point. Now we can tell a story.
And opening titles.
And scene.
Marvel logo. Go. Nope. Instead, we are... How far into this movie? An hour and 40 minutes into this
You know how
movie.
stoked I was to finally sit down and do Ant-Man and the Wasp? I'm more stoked that we're this close to the end. Yes, I am.
Everyone was talking about how like we were trying to put this off.
There's still
we were
20 minutes left in this movie. I'm sorry. What?
Everyone was talking about how we were trying to put this off, like we kept canceling because we didn't want to watch it. It's not that we hate this movie.
Nothing to do with that. We didn't put off any other movie. And if I was gonna put off anything, don't you think it would have been Ragnarok?
Yeah, it would have been Ragnarok.
Seriously.
This is generic and boring, but it doesn't like make us angry like Ragnarok.
Yeah. No, I mean, like Dark Phoenix is coming up eventually. Like there's other things that I would have put off way before this. No, we were having huge scheduling issues because of people getting sick and stuff. And then we had to put it off last week because my wife was out of town.
Yeah, completely unrelated.
Mr. Roboto, $2 super chat. Phase 4 Ant-Man and Spider. Yes, no, maybe. No, I mean that won't happen.
Ant-Man and Spider.
Because Spider-Man 3 is going to be that big, insane multiversal madness thing. Not to be confused with Multiverse of Madness, but it should be, because it sounds mad more than the Doctor Strange movie does so far.
John Kelling says Ant-Man and the Wasp is an easy movie to watch. Yeah, but it's not an easy movie to watch and talk.
It has been easier than I thought it would be. I am glad I went ahead and watched it again, though, or I really wouldn't have much to say. I love Pfeiffer. I hate that she's just here for the end of this. I get that she got a couple flashbacks, but she's kind of wasted, too. She doesn't get much. And hopefully in the third one she does, but I don't we've got still a relatively, young couple, Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't expect the last generation to get to do a lot. She almost didn't take this role. Michelle Pfeiffer has a history of being hard to convince to be in certain movies, and she wasn't sure if she wanted to do one of these, and ultimately they got her to do it. Anime says this movie is cute. That's a nice thing I can say about it.
I guess, yeah.
Oh, it is true serum. God. Got a lot of TV writing in this movie.
But he's like acting like he's genuinely surprised.
Yeah, I know.
The joke has been lost. The joke has been lost. What is happening?
The joke was never there.
He's like, it is true serum. You invented it, or you use it on people at least. Is it just supposed to be that they think it's true serum, so they say true, like they give it up? I don't understand.
How, dude? Don't hurt yourself, okay? How do they keep this suit staying up there? Like, it's gonna deflate. It doesn't look like there's like a bunch of ants holding it up or anything. Like, how'd they keep it up there without a body in it?
The balloon sound effect. Why don't we just add a slide whistle while we're at it?
That's great. Good point.
It's ridiculous. And why does he need like proof? Wasn't he all over the news? Why does he have to catch him? He has video evidence that he was out. I guess they're saying it could not be him. It could be somebody else.
I like this scene. I think this is kind of heartfelt and touching. That Bill refuses to leave her even after all the horrible things she's done. I like that a lot. There is some nice stuff between them. It's not overall a super gripping plot. I mean, she's kind of a sympathetic crypto freak, is kind of what that boils down to, but... Lewis Cox, £5 super chat. Kappa DJ, what will you guys do with Morphin Mania? We're talking about doing monthly marathons and then splitting them up over on that channel. So we broadcast them live here, and just do a bunch of episodes at once, because we haven't had time to shoot, weekly like we were doing. So we're kicking that around. We've not decided exactly when that's going to start or if that's going to work out, but that's what we're talking about doing right now. That's the hope.
That's the hope.
A part of me kind of wants to wait and see if DJ those shows end up on another streaming service, because
that's a big deal.
Suddenly a bunch of people aren't going to be able to watch it with us, and so it's going to be weird to broadcast them.
Yeah, because right when we started doing them live. And I got to start buying once we get to Lost Galaxy.
It's not funny, and it's awful, and they just need to stop. Stop. And then this guy's all insecure, and he's like, well, no, I am free. We could go hang out. I'm like, stop. No one cares.
If something's not funny, Cap, you just got to keep it going long enough. That's what happens. Then it gets funny.
Oh.
That's the rules.
The Paul Feig school of improv comedy.
John Watts will be the first to do a full trilogy. Wow. That's what Mutali says. I wasn't just randomly saying that.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, that's cool. I don't believe anybody on anything anymore, even if I knew it already.
I don't believe Spider-Man 3 is coming out.
I don't believe Far From Home is a film. I don't think that happened.
I don't think there'll be a Mania on it.
Okay, I have a question, guys. Somebody refresh my memory. DJ, maybe you can do this. When the van with the stupid horn that they think is hilarious shows up again at the end of Endgame, is it still painted like that, or does it look like it did in the first movie? Because my memory right now is it's back to looking like it did originally, and I don't know why they would repaint it, and I don't know if they still have that business 5 years later after the blip, but is it painted like that or not? Because I don't remember.
Let us know, guys.
Lewis Cox. LOL. Cap told you to stop, Ant-Man and the Wasp. This is kind of cute. That they're doing like a movie drive-in thing tiny.
Yeah.
Ren Davis. Carol was the most interesting thing in Civil War 2, said no one ever. Yeah, precisely. And nobody said that about Endgame either. Blue Dragon 5 says it is the ex-con van. Okay, good, because it would be awful. if they made it look like the first movie, just because they expect more people to remember that, which would be fair. The end credits here are good. I like the choice of action figures. There's a couple of these that I want as actual action figures. Particularly the Hank Pym one in his suit from the end of this. I think it looks really cool. I would love to know where these models are now.
Yeah, they're not even like action figures. They're like little model sets. Reminds me of Thomas the Train, which is ironic.
I will ask this question, and forgive me if this sounds naive, but are we sure these are real models they built, or is this CG they made to look like it? Because I really can't tell.
It would probably be easier to do the latter because there's like floating things, so there's at least some interaction.
That's a good point.
Added after the fact.
I bet this is all CG. I bet they didn't build any of this. Mutale, so Cap, what is the rewind rating for this? I never do that before I've made it. If I had to guess, it's gonna be probably a 2.5. It could get into the realm of 3, but I think I gave the first film a 3, and it's not as good as that. Story-wise, that feels like a 2.5 in my brain. But I'm not saying for sure it will be. That's always based on the last time I watched the thing. John Kelling, this is clearly CGI. It started looking more pretty clearly that as it went along. I said that before we had the car in the air shot.
The car
I was
flipping through the air, yeah.
Oh. Okay, so Disney Plus is stupid because they put it in the tiny box while you're watching the mid-credit scene. It's like, stop it.
That's just like a timing thing. Probably they can't set them all up individually.
Austin says 1.5 to 2, calling it now. I don't know that any Marvel film is bad enough to go to a 1.5. But I haven't sat down and written about Ragnarok yet.
Yeah, that's
I
definitely.
don't know.
There's gotta be. Set the record. Oh, she's got a crazy hairstyle that I've never seen right in this scene. Do you see that?
Yeah.
She has like a braid going through her.
It's great.
Ponytail.
Don't get sucked into a time vortex. See, the quantum thing has a time thing somehow. Apparently, if you get small enough, you can transcend time.
How do you feel about them doing these? I guess they don't do it anymore. This is kind of the first time they did it in a while, where it was like, dun dun dun, come see our next movie.
Yeah. Well,
it's kind of weird when it's like you have to wait 8 months. It's like all that suspense is gone.
I mean, Infinity War was that way too, to some degree, because it was like, Captain Marvel's coming.
Oh, yeah. But we're never consistent. That was at the very end of the credits. Or, no. Was that also like this? I guess that was also like this?
Yeah.
Like just a mid-credits?
Well, I think it might have been the very end, but I don't think this has two... It has 2 credits. It's just the mid-credits. It's like wherever it lands.
I think there's
there is one right at the end.
It's like the ant thing.
Oh, who cares? Oh, yeah, it's just the ant playing drums or whatever. Or something. I don't remember what it is. Oh, okay. Well, we've done that. And it was so exciting, you guys. Ryder, $2 super chat. Wonder what Edgar Wright's sequel would have been. Wonder what Edgar Wright's movie would have been.
First one, yeah.
First place. It would have been awful if he had to come in and they were like, okay, we'll actually let you make a movie this time, like the way you want to make it. So, well, now I gotta work with what you made out of my stuff in the first place that I wasn't happy with.
No, that would have been, there's no way he would have came back for that. Slap in the face.
And you know, it occurs to me that the stupid rat that saves the universe in Endgame, that scene feels like it was written by these writers. Because it's the kind of contrivance that their movies are totally built on. I know. What if there's just a rat walking around? that opens up the quantum tunnel so we can have a film and bring back half the universe that died.
Yeah, I don't I don't get why they let that slip in. It's like, oh, we got enough to worry about.
No, Mutali, I know this sets up Endgame. As opposed to Captain Marvel. I was talking about the previous movie because DJ said it's been a while before this movie since we had a what's going to happen next scene, and I'm saying that the end of Endgame kind of was that way too with Captain Marvel.
Yeah, but that's not like for another movie though. That's for like the second part of Infinity War. We still have 2 movies before that happens.
Well, that's true, but it still is a setup thing, as opposed to just some cute thing in the middle, or something more ambiguous where it's setting up something maybe, like Guardians did, like the second Guardians did.
I guess I just have a weird thing about that, where it's not like it's TV where we're coming back next week. It's like we have to wait like a year, so like having that like suspenseful ending is just weird to me because I've completely forgotten about that by the time the next movie comes out.
Yeah, that's fair.
The San Francisco unit.
What else are you gonna do? Like, it would be weird if that wasn't here at all, and then we had to backtrack and say, well, in a scene you didn't see, we sent Ant-Man to the quantum realm.
Well, yeah, it would be weird if it was like Endgame opens with the Hawkeye scene and the Ant-Man scene. We see how both of them disappeared.
But conveniently, all 3 of these, that's true, they actually could have done it at the beginning. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. But conveniently, all 3 of the other people that were standing there all blipped out of existence so that nobody could press that button.
Hey, the blip is very convenient. Don't underestimate the convenience of the blip.
Oh, even the timing of it is convenient. That blip makes sure that certain people disintegrate when it wants to emotionally affect me, the viewer.
Or when it wants the plot to be furthered so that someone can call Captain Marvel.
So we need to kill time, and I don't have any more gifts to open. So DJ, would you find out for us what the next film is that we're doing in 2 weeks? Hopefully nobody gets sick or anything on Marvel Mania.
Who knows?
Is it Venom?
I think so.
That's close, right?
Oh, yes, it is. Great. It is Venom.
Yeah! I'm even more excited to do that! I've actually done a commentary on that already with Dan, so DJ's going to have to do, like, probably 3/4 of the talking.
Oh, gosh. That was the most disappointing experience I've ever had in a movie theater, so that's going to be fun to do that.
I was kind of expecting it to be really weird. I don't think I expected exactly what we got, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about the thumbnail I made for it because it's goofy, but I'm not excited to watch that movie again.
Venom, go get him! Oh, I can't wait to get to the Eminem song again. I have been threatening to do that on karaoke for months on After Dark. I gotta sit down and learn it.
Some research, yeah, you'd have to learn that.
I'm gonna do it.
Lego says we're all losers.
Well, right back at you, sir. I don't know who he's talking about.
I think it's talking about because of Venom.
Blue Dragon 5 says we should order lobster and tater tots for that one. I second that. That sounds really good, actually. Maybe lobster or tater tots. I don't know if together. I have a side of tater tots at my lobster.
Each his own, really.
Or with my
some
lobster.
People are lobster guys. Some people are tater tot guys.
Nobody's into both of those things.
I've only had lobster once in my life. It was when I went on that Jamaica trip.
Oh, cool.
Last year.
Oh, I bet that was kick-ass lobster.
It was pretty good. We got like resort credit that I could use for certain things, so I didn't have to pay because it was expensive.
That makes me want to do that commentary from inside of a tater tot tank.
You should go crazy and dunk your head in a fish tank or a lobster tank during that if you can.
I don't know if I'm going to do anything weird. I want to do something very weird for that commentary.
What can we do?
If
Let us know what we can do, guys. Venom is up
If anybody
next.
has a strange idea for a gimmick, because we haven't done any big gimmicks yet in Marvel Mania. The second round, I don't think.
We don't have roommates, so we couldn't like be really loud and try to get a roommate to come over, and then we could go blah in their face.
Take that. It's a public service announcement about being too loud to your neighbors.
Isn't there like, yeah, is that scene where he's just like opening frozen food and stuff and like shoving it? You want to eat frozen food without cooking it? That could be our theme.
Adam A, is Venom on any streaming service? I don't know if it is.
Oh, let me check that. That's a man. Am I gonna have to buy that or rent that movie?
You might have to, because I don't have any way to share it with you. Oh, it is playing drums.
Oh, it's on Fubo. Maybe I can get a free subscription to Fubo.
What the heck is Fubo?
Fubo TV. Anybody have a Fubo account I could borrow?
Somebody messaged DJ. He's cheap and he doesn't want to watch that.
Oh my gosh, it's $64.99 a month.
What?
I'm gonna pay $65 for it. I think it's like Sling. I think it's like one of those alternate TV providers.
Blue Dragon 5, the Spawn jacket for the Venom movie?
Symbiotes.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. It's kind of small on me now. I don't know.
Daniel Davis says they sold the movie heavily on the ant doing the drums.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, they did.
Sold
They
it
made
on
it
the
the
after
after credits. Well, I think you see a glimpse of it earlier, too.
That's like, you saw Christopher Robin, right? Or is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yeah.
They sold the movie on them in those beach chairs. It was like the posters. It was everywhere. It was the trailers. And that is the after credit scene. Is them in those beach chairs.
That movie was better than it had any right to be, I think.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Well, this concludes this week's edition of Marvel Mania. Everybody, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you had a good time with us. Thanks for watching live. Thanks for watching after the fact. If you did that instead, DJ, really appreciate the Christmas gifts, man. And much thanks to your wife. I will send her a nice note. It's awesome. I'm so excited about my T-shirts and my me. He's gonna get his own show. I'm gonna give him a selfie stick, and he's gonna have his own program.
Yeah, we actually the closest glasses we could find were that's actually Vision from WandaVision, or those glasses. We had to paint them because they were like half clear, half. Black.
Can you break it down? What's the suit? What's the head?
Oh, the head was some the closest hair we could find was, we went to that store. We actually went to the mall. That's why I was actually talking to you the one time when we were in that mall.
Remember is that where you got it?
We went to the mall and got a couple of them from that pop store. And then we also had to go to Second and Charles, which is that other store I took you to, that pop culture store.
Yeah.
And we got the head, which is like a Big Bang Theory character.
Okay.
And then the body is
that actually was one of my guesses.
Is somebody from Duran Duran? It was really weird. We had a really hard time finding a body that would work. Like, we were trying to find a body that was just like a shirt, because you always wear those button down shirts. But I once I saw the purple suit, I was like, oh, we gotta make a Geekvolution exclusive.
Well, it's really cool that you found an open coat that you could do something with a T-shirt.
Yeah, and I don't know if they could see it, but we made the silver shirt that we gave him. It's got the little Geekvolution.
That's perfect. That's so cool, man. Well, thanks a ton. I got no words, man. You're great.
No, man. You love pops, so you got to have one of yourself. You got too many pops, but you don't have you.
I don't. I gotta find a good place for that guy. Well, anyway, everybody, thanks a lot for watching. We will see you again in a couple weeks for more Marvel Mania. If you are so inclined to hang out with us some more on Thursday, pop in 7 o'clock Central Time for another edition of the Captain Logan Show. That evening, we will be talking about the much rumored... possibly rumored, possibly actually happening. I'm not sure yet. It's like this with everything. But there's been a lot of talk that there might be a sequel of some kind to Batman the Animated Series coming to HBO Max. So we're going to be talking about that and speculating what that could be and what we might want to see from that. And Ask Me Anything show after that. And brand new Superhero Rewind coming to you on Friday. I'm doing a new list video, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I will say I did allude to it earlier in the program with something I was talking about with Endgame. So that is your hint. But there was a thing that I was making fun of with Endgame that I discuss that is one of the items on the list that I'm doing on Rewind for Friday. So look forward to that. And in the meantime, I was Captain Logan, and that was DJ Marquez.
Farewell, folks.